I still see people asking all the time, is it worth getting a Nintendo Switch 2 just to play Pokopia? The short answer is yes, and I will soon tell you why. And if you think Pokopia is just another Animal Crossing in a Pokemon skin, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. And before I played the game, I was so wrong. Because Pokopia is all you expected and everything you did not expect. Let me show you. When Pokopia was first revealed, the internet immediately started comparing it to Animal Crossing, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. You have a peaceful village, adorable Pokemon living alongside you, decorating your home, talking to neighbors, relaxing activities. It all sounds very familiar. But once you actually start playing, you quickly realize that Pokopia is doing something very different. You can see it as Pokemon meets Minecraft meets Dragon Quest Builder. The first thing you notice when you arrive in the world of Pokopia is just how alive everything feels. You move into this cozy little community where Pokemon live together in harmony. Instead of just catching Pokemon like in the traditional games, you're actually building a life with them. Pokemon are not just creatures you collect here, they are neighbors, helpers, companions, and sometimes even little troublemakers. And that changes the entire feeling of the game. When you start your adventure, you start with not much, but very quickly the game opens up and gives you a lot of freedom. You can decorate your home with furniture, change wallpapers, place decorations outside, plant flowers, and shape the environment around you. If you enjoy cozy customization games, this is where Pokopia really shines. One of the biggest reasons Pokopia feels so different from other Pokemon games is the gameplay itself. On the surface, it might look like a cozy life simulator similar to Animal Crossing, but once you start playing, you realize the mechanics are built very differently. Instead of simply decorating a house and talking to villagers, Pokopia builds its entire gameplay loop around living with Pokemon and interacting with the world in creative ways. One of the most surprising mechanics in Pokopia is that your character is actually a Ditto in disguise. Yes, you're not just a regular human living in a Pokemon world, you're a Ditto that has taken on a human form. That gives you one of the most creative gameplay systems in the entire game. Because you're a Ditto, you can copy abilities from Pokemon you meet in the world, but instead of using these abilities for battling like in the traditional Pokemon series, they're used as tools for everyday life. For example, if you copy a grass-type Pokemon's move, you might be able to grow plants instantly. A water-type ability can help you water crops. Some moves allow you to clear obstacles, break rocks, or access new areas of the map. It's a really clever system because it replaces traditional tools like watering cans, axes, or pickaxes. Instead, these tools are Pokemon abilities themselves. And that small change makes the entire game feel much more connected to the Pokemon world. Another mechanic that really sets Pokopia apart is how Pokemon join your village. In most Pokemon games, you catch Pokemon in battles, but in Pokopia, you attract them building habitats they like. That means if you want certain Pokemon to live in your area, you have to design environments that suit them. Some Pokemon prefer forests filled with trees and flowers, others might appear near water, lakes, or rivers. Some Pokemon might only show up if you create certain decorative areas or grow specific plants. So instead of catching Pokemon, you're essentially creating an ecosystem. As your village grows and becomes more appealing, more Pokemon start moving in, and seeing new Pokemon arrive in your world is incredibly satisfying because it feels like the result of something you build. And improving the habitats of your Pokemon and asking what they actually want and need makes this game feel very special. Of course, no cozy life simulation game would be complete without crafting and building, and Pokopia goes pretty deep with this system. As you explore the world, you collect materials like wood, stone, berries, and other resources. These materials can then be used to craft furniture, decorations, and structures that improve your village. You can build things like homes, gardens, decorative areas, and special structures that attract Pokemon or unlock new gameplay features. The more you build, the more your village evolves. At first, it starts as a tiny little settlement, but slowly it grows into a lively community filled with Pokemon and unique areas that you designed yourself. And if you love decorating and customizing spaces in cozy games, this is easily one of the most satisfying parts of Pokopia. Another relaxing mechanic in Pokopia is farming. You can plant crops, grow vegetables, plant flowers, and create gardens around your home and throughout the village. But once again, Pokemon are involved in the process. Some Pokemon can help you prepare soil, others can water crops, and some might even help harvest materials. This makes farming feel less like a chore and more like a shared activity with the Pokemon living in your village. And farming isn't just there for aesthetics either. Crops and plants can be used for crafting, decorating, or even attracting specific Pokemon that like certain environments, or for cooking ingredients. So your gardens are not only beautiful, but also functional. But farming is not the main focus. Even though Pokopia is a cozy life simulation game, exploration still plays a big role. The world isn't limited to just your village. There are multiple areas you can explore, including forests, beaches, hills, and other natural environments. Each area contains different resources and different Pokemon species. Sometimes you go exploring just to collect materials. Other times you might discover new Pokemon wandering around or find hidden locations you didn't know existed. The world also feels dynamic because time of day and weather can affect what happens in the environment. Some Pokemon might only appear during certain times of day, while others might show up during specific weather conditions. That makes exploration feel rewarding because you never quite know what you might discover. Another feature many players are excited about is multiplayer. Pokopia allows friends to visit your village and help you build together. You can explore each other's worlds, share resources, decorate areas together, and collaborate on creating larger settlements. And honestly, this mechanic has a lot of potential because cozy building games become even more fun when you can share the experience with friends. Imagine designing a huge Pokemon village together or creating themed areas in your world. So when you combine all these systems together, the Ditto transformation mechanic, habitat building, crafting, farming, exploration, and multiplayer, you start to understand why Pokopia feels so unique. It's not trying to replace traditional Pokemon games. Instead, it's offering a completely different experience. Cozy life simulation where you're not battling Pokemon, you're living with them. And honestly, that idea feels like something Pokemon fans have been waiting for a very long time. Exploration is one of my favorite things to do in Pokopia. You always find unexpected hidden places, sometimes deep in mountains and lava caves that very much remind me of Minecraft. You might suddenly encounter Pokemon in places you did not expect them, or find old notes and recordings that give hints or clues about what happened in this world where abandoned Pokemon are left to their own devices to restore a post-apocalyptic world without human beings. There are lots of special abilities to discover, like Driftloon taking you to Dream Islands, which you then can explore, plunder, and strip bare until you have all the materials you need to make your own town pretty. Another thing that I cannot stop doing is completing my Pokédex. I love discovering new biomes and spotting traces of Pokémon just to rebuild their habitats and see who is going to appear here next. To me, it feels like completing a tiny puzzle and getting an adorable reward for it. Now let's talk about progression. Pokopia uses a system where your village gradually grows over time in real time. As you complete tasks, build structures, and improve your home, the village expands. New characters arrive, more Pokemon move in, shops unlock, activities increase. It is that satisfying cozy game loop where every day you feel like you're slowly improving your little world. Not everybody enjoys this, but there's always the option of time traveling that players already discovered for Animal Crossing. And if you enjoy games like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, or other life simulation games, that feeling of gradual progress is very familiar. But Pokopia still manages to feel unique because Pokemon are deeply integrated into every part of the system. Even crafting feels connected to the Pokemon world. Materials you gather might come from different environments where certain Pokemon live. Some Pokemon might help you, getting them faster. Everything feels connected. Weather in Pokopia doesn't just change the atmosphere of the world, it actually affects Pokemon behavior. Certain Pokemon become much more active when it rains, while others might appear more often during sunny weather or just at sunset, or even during the night. Some rare Pokemon might only appear during very specific weather conditions. So if you ever feel like your village suddenly has different Pokemon visiting, it might be because the weather changed. Another big highlight is the visual style. Pokopia looks beautiful. The art style keeps the colorful charm of Pokemon but blends it with a soft, cozy aesthetic that fits perfectly with the life simulation gameplay. The environments are bright, peaceful, and full of small details. You might notice leaves moving in the wind, Pokemon playing with each other, or subtle animations that make the world feel warm and welcoming. On the Nintendo Switch 2, the game also looks incredibly smooth. The improved hardware allows for larger areas, more Pokemon on screen, and more detailed environments. And no, the original Nintendo Switch would have not been able to play this game without any issues. If you enjoy relaxing games where you can just walk around and take in the atmosphere, Pokopia absolutely delivers. And honestly, sometimes the best moments in the game are the quiet ones. Sitting near a river while Pokemon wander around, decorating your home while the sun slowly sets, watching your village slowly become something special. Those are the moments where Pokopia truly shine. But of course, no game is perfect. As I already mentioned, not everybody loves the slow pacing. Pokopia is not a fast game, it's intentionally relaxed, and cozy gamers usually appreciate that. Progress can take time, and some tasks require patience. You can wander off and do other things while your Pokemon build a building and you're waiting for that. If you're expecting constant action like a traditional Pokemon RPG, this might not be the experience you're looking for at all. Another thing is that some players might wish for deeper story elements. Pokopia focuses much more on daily life and cozy gameplay than on dramatic storytelling, though there is still a dramatic story in the background. This game is meant to be a peaceful escape, and in that sense, it succeeds. Now let's address the big question again. Is Pokopia worth buying a Nintendo Switch 2 for? In my opinion, the Nintendo Switch 2 is definitely worth buying just for Pokopia alone. And then you can of course add other amazing exclusives to your library as well. For Pokemon fans who love cozy games, this game is worth checking out because Pokopia offers something we've never really seen before in the Pokemon franchise. It's not about battles, it's not about becoming a champion, it's about living in a peaceful world with Pokemon, and that idea works incredibly well. For cozy gamers, Pokopia might actually become one of the most relaxing games available on the Nintendo Switch 2, but be warned, you might lose some sleep because it's really hard to stop. It combines life simulation, decorating, exploration, and the charm of Pokemon in a way that feels fresh and comforting at the same time. And once you start building your village and forming little routines with your Pokemon companions, it's very easy to lose track of time. You log in thinking you just play for a few minutes and suddenly it's been 2 hours or 3. That's the magic of a good cozy game. So if you're worried that Pokopia is just Animal Crossing with Pokemon, don't worry, it's so much more than that. It takes inspiration from cozy life sims, but it builds its own identity around the Pokemon world, and because of that, it feels like a game that many fans have secretly wanted for years. Peaceful Pokemon Life Simulator, and honestly, it's kind of amazing that it finally exists. But now I'm curious, what do you think about Pokopia? Is this a kind of Pokemon game you've been waiting for, or do you prefer the traditional Pokemon adventure style? Remember, wind and waves? Won't be long. Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoy cozy gaming content like this, don't forget to subscribe for more cozy game reviews, new game discoveries, and relaxing gaming recommendations. Thank you for watching. Stay sweet.